Let's go into another high-octane matchup. The USC Trojans headed to Eugene, Oregon to face the 8-1 Oregon Ducks. The Ducks are 15.5-point favorites. Here's Spencer McLaughlin to tell us why the Ducks can cover that spread.
Oregon favored by 14.5 points against USC at home inside Autzen Stadium this week. Can they cover that number? Yeah, they're very capable of doing so. Spencer McLaughlin here of the Locked On Ducks podcast. USC's defense doesn't have Alex Grinch as its defensive coordinator. That doesn't change all of the underlying issues that they've had. It's possible they play a little bit better, inspired with better play calling than they've had with Alex Grinch at the helm. But they're not going to suddenly become a unit that can be the first team this year to hold Oregon under 30 points. This offense is rolling, the number one scoring offense in all of college football. Bo Nix is making great decisions. Oregon runs the football very well. And Washington, a subpar running team, was able to go for over 300 yards on the ground on the road against USC last week. Bucky Irving and Jordan James are both averaging at least 7 yards per carry this season. The Trojans defense is going to have a difficult time stopping this Oregon offense. Even if they find a way to load the box and slow up the ground game, Bo Nix is going to be able to throw the football as he has all season long. USC's defensive struggles are why they could struggle to cover 14.5 points.
Dono, as we break down the performance of our hosts coming into the Sell Me Wise, that's one of the best ones that I think I've heard, in that Spencer gave actual numbers, real numbers from the ground game. This wasn't hey, I'm trying to sell myself. It was statistically, analytically, the edge is with Oregon. It's just a matter of if that edge is worth 15.5 points.
Yeah, he sold me that Oregon can and very likely will cover that big number. I'm staying away from this for a simple reason. Midweek, mid-season coaching changes, coordinators, head coaches, you don't always know the way a team's going to respond from that, okay? Now, for one thing, we know USC can score. They did it against Washington and Oregon. I think, obviously, Washington has a head-to-head over Oregon, but Oregon, excellent team, excellent defense. USC can score on just about anybody. And, they didn't leave Mr. Grinch around long enough to steal Christmas. They got rid of him. When your defensive coordinator gets fired, that's an embarrassing thing for players. They respond typically with the fire, lit under their behinds with that sort of a situation. So I'm staying away from it. I think the number's 14.5 now. So it's even come down just a little bit, but I'm just going to sit this one out and enjoy the game because I think a lot of points are going to get scored.
Yeah, Kenton, the players walked in on Monday and Alex Grinch was not there. A coaching change in the middle of a season, as somebody who played the game at the collegiate level, does that, you've seen it a few times nationally, does it give a team an edge? These players, do they play with a different fervor?
Absolutely, but I'll also say this, it's not a guarantee. This thing is a big boom or bust potential type of thing. It's rare that you see a coach get fired and they're the same defense. Either they turn it up a notch or they regress a notch, which for this USC defense, I don't know how you can. With all due respect, I don't know how you can regress from what they've been. But this line is insane. What are we doing here? What do we do? This is a actual fact about USC. They have scored 50 in more conference games than they've been held to 30. That is an actual thing. And by 30, I mean 30, anywhere 30 to 39. This team, Caleb Williams, say what you want about him. You could say he cries too much. You could say he paints his nails. We don't like it. You could say the rumors about him wanting part ownership and all that. I believe it. I buy it, even though it's from a random blue check that knows nothing about nothing. You can say every bad thing in the world about Caleb Williams. But you know what you can't say about the young man? That he doesn't throw touchdowns, that he doesn't throw dots, that he's not a magician when things break down, that he's not going to lead this offense to at least, and I mean at least 35 points. With that being said, I'm not buying this line at all. Not doing it.
Yeah, I think if USC scores 35, Oregon scores 55. I'm going to dissent from you guys. One of the reasons why, night game, Autzen Stadium, and you've seen not just Caleb Williams cry, but 3 straight weeks of that same broken emotion. It doesn't remind me of the postseason, emotional. This is more of, oh no, we need help. We need a fix. This isn't trending the direction Caleb Williams wanted it to go in his last season at USC. So for me, in what last week felt like a make or break game for the Trojans, where they were in it up until the very end, that spirit, from what I saw, is broken. So a 9:30 game at Autzen is not going to help. I'll go ahead and put it down. I'm sold. Spencer McLaughlin sold me with the ground game as well. I'll take Oregon minus 15.5 this week.